Is it better to mix on a pair of headphones or on a pair of monitors? Well, the answer is yes. I get asked this question a lot, and both headphones and monitors have their advantages and disadvantages when it comes to creating music in a home environment. So today we're going to dive into some of the pros and cons of each, and you can decide for yourself if you want to throw on a pair of headphones or power up your monitors for your next mix. So first things first, if you only have headphones, don't let that stop you from mixing music. While mixing of monitors is preferred and you typically see a pair of monitors in every studio, you could still get a great mix on a pair of headphones. So let's talk about the pros. Headphones are great for a home recording studio because you don't need a treated mix room. Most home studios are in bedrooms or basements without proper acoustic treatment, and using monitors in those types of environments can make it very difficult to hear an accurate representation of your mix. With headphones, you're always in the sweet spot. Monitors have an ideal speaker placement based on the dimensions of your room and your listening position, and the sound from your monitors can easily change if you're not in that exact spot. With headphones, you're always in the perfect listening position, whether you move your head, turn around, stand up, and this really allows you to focus on the fine details of your mix. You can also mix at times when you can't make a lot of noise. Maybe you live in an apartment and you don't want to annoy the neighbors, or maybe you can only mix after hours when your family's sleeping. With headphones, you can mix anytime, day or night, without worrying about the sound affecting others around you. So what about the cons to mixing on headphones? For one, the stereo image can often be an issue when mixing on headphones. Things tend to sound a bit wider because the sound is going directly into the left and right ears. And without having this natural crosstalk, it can be more difficult to get a balanced mix that translates well onto other listening systems. Another thing, people tend to listen too loud on headphones. This can easily cause your ears to become fatigued, in which you'll start making poor mixing decisions, or even have to take an extended break from mixing altogether. Third, you don't really feel the sound as you would on a pair of monitors. On some studio monitors, especially with the sub, you can really feel the low end to get a good gauge of how well everything's sitting together. And while many headphones can accurately reproduce these lower frequencies, to me personally, there's nothing like feeling the sound of the kick drum right in your chest. Monitors will typically cost you more than a decent pair of headphones, but definitely invest into a pair if you can afford it. So what are the pros of monitors? Well, for one, listening on monitors is going to give you a better representation of the stereo image and how your mix will sound in most real-world environments. As humans, our ears are used to hearing sound from the left speaker and the right speaker blended together, and actually each ear hears these sounds microseconds apart and then our brain compensates for it. Science! We're not going to dive any more into the science of the human ear today, but this natural effect is not something you get when using a pair of headphones. Another reason monitors are great is because although it feels really good to crank up the mix from time to time, you're more likely to listen to monitors at a conservative level. This is not only protecting your hearing in the long run, but it's allowing you to make better mix decisions. The third thing is that mixing on monitors will typically get you to your ideal mix faster. That sound you envision in your head for your music will typically translate more naturally when listening to a set of speakers rather than a pair of headphones. So what are the cons of monitors? Well, if your room is untreated, room reflections can cause a multitude of issues when mixing. Mixing at a low volume is a must in an untreated room, and at the very least, you should try to treat the first reflection points. Second, if you're mixing in a small room, this can also have a negative impact when using monitors. The larger the room, the more space the sound has to dissipate. Smaller rooms will increase the pressure buildup and reflections back to your listening position, which can cause issues such as standing waves and comb filtering. Even with acoustic treatment, mixing at a low volume in a small room is an absolute must. Another con to monitors is that everyone can hear it. Even at quieter mixing levels, the low frequencies from your monitors can easily travel to other rooms in your home or even into your neighbor's apartment. So regardless of the time of day, this could potentially be a huge disturbance to others around you. All in all, if you have access to both headphones and monitors, both can be extremely helpful during mixing. Not only do you have another reference point to hear how your mix is going to translate onto a different listening system, but you can also mix during quiet hours when everybody's asleep and not disturb anybody. Now this next point I really want to drive home, and that's if you only have the option of using headphones, use them. Professional mixer Andrew Scheps is known for frequently mixing on headphones, and he uses a pair of Sonys that cost around $100 a pair. He said that he's used to how they sound, they allow him to work while traveling, and it gives him a consistent listening environment wherever he's at. Consistency, that is key. Whether you're using headphones or monitors to mix, just become extremely familiar with how they sound. Listen to a ton of professionally produced music through them, really get to know your speakers or your headphones, and you'll be well on your way to pumping out some great mixes. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you want some of my best headphone and monitor recommendations, you can download the Ultimate Home Studio Gear Guide. This guide covers some of my best gear recommendations for every budget, and you can download it absolutely free as my gift to you by going to FromZeroToStudio.com/gear, and you'll be ahead of the game when it comes to making your next gear purchase. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. I'll see you on another video soon.